Imagine standing in the ruins of the Roman Forum, towering marble columns shattered, streets once filled with senators and merchants, now silent. It's hard to believe that this was once the beating heart of the mightiest empire the world had ever seen. But how did such unimaginable power crumble into dust? The truth is far more complex and far more dramatic than you've been told. The story of Rome's fall doesn't start with a single battle or one catastrophic event. It starts with a slow, almost invisible decay, a sickness within the empire itself. Rome's enemies didn't just destroy it from the outside. The empire was already rotting from within, and most Romans didn't even realize it. At its peak, Rome controlled vast lands stretching from Britain to Egypt, from Spain to the Middle East. But ruling such an enormous territory came with a fatal weakness. It was impossible to defend all borders at once. The more the empire expanded, the thinner its resources stretched. Many historians blame barbarian invasions for the fall. Yes, the Goths, Vandals, and Huns played their part. But the real question is, why was the empire so weak that these smaller forces could break it? The answer lies deep within Rome's political corruption and failing leadership. By the 3rd century AD, the Roman government had become a playground for power-hungry generals and corrupt politicians. Emperors rose and fell like dominoes, some rolling for only weeks before being assassinated. This instability meant Rome could never focus on long-term survival. The economy suffered just as badly. Wars drained the treasury, and the government responded by printing more coins, but with less silver. Inflation spiraled out of control, and ordinary Romans could no longer afford basic goods. This economic collapse left the empire vulnerable. While Rome's wealth shrank, its enemies grew bolder. The once terrifying Roman legions were no longer the unstoppable force they used to be. Recruiting soldiers became difficult, so the empire hired foreign mercenaries, men who fought for money, not loyalty. And loyalty was exactly what Rome needed most. But the decay wasn't just political and military, it was also moral. The Roman elite lived in outrageous luxury, while ordinary citizens suffered. The gap between rich and poor became a canyon, and loyalty to the empire began to fade. Why fight for a system that no longer cared for you? Another factor, one often ignored, was the empire's over-reliance on slavery. Slaves did most of the farming and labor, meaning ordinary citizens had fewer jobs. Without purpose or income, many Romans became restless, angry, and ready to rebel or simply stop caring about the empire's fate. Meanwhile, the empire faced a religious transformation. Christianity spread rapidly, and in the 4th century, it became the official religion. While this brought unity to some, it also created deep divisions with traditional Roman beliefs, weakening the old cultural glue that had held Rome together for centuries. The Roman army, once a disciplined machine, began to collapse from within. Foreign mercenaries often betrayed their Roman employers, and without a strong central command, the empire's borders became paper walls. Invading tribes simply walked through.